My name is Angelo Persichilli. I'm political editor of Corriere Canadese, and I'm here because my president and CEO decided that she was decided to be sick today, she said. So I'm here, even though I was supposed to be on holiday, and of course that's not the best place to be at Queen's Park when the alternative is being on holiday. But if George is here, after all he went through, I think that I can say that I'm very proud to be here today with George. I want to read just a few lines from my president, Gloria Bitan. As I said, she is sick and she sends regrets. And as you know, Corriere Canadese and Multicom sponsored the tour, European tour, with Giorgio Marcello. And when George first approached us, says Laurie, about the European tour, which would provide information to address Canada's ongoing shortage of organ donation, the decision to support George and step-by-step mission was an easy one to make. George's determination was an inspiration to all of us, and when George faced the news that his liver had failed and the grim possibility that he may have died, he didn't stop. He pushed on and encouraged everyone around him to up the schedule because he only had a few months to live and he had to make a difference. George says, and this is a message to you from Laurie, Multimedia Nova and its 14 publications are behind you and your case every step of the way. I want to conclude, says my president, by saying that it is everyone's responsibility to raise the level of consciousness about the importance of organ donation. We never know when we may be faced with the decision of being the donor or the recipient. So thank you on behalf of the whole organization. Then we know what he had to go through, and I believe I cannot explain it myself because I'm just a journalist, and usually journalists, they say what the other people say. And what I have to read here is from Dr. Leslie Lilly, which is the person that had a very important role in having George with us today. So she sent a letter, and I read it to you. George Marcello underwent his first liver transplantation in 1995 due to liver failure. His recovery was good, and he enjoyed excellent liver function and a normal quality of life for almost a decade after surgery. While in Europe earlier this year, George developed a serious infection requiring urgent hospitalization. And thrombosis or blockage or the artery supplying blood to his liver was diagnosed. This potentially life-threatening complication develops in approximately 4% of all patients undergoing liver transplantation, and most of the time results in loss of the organ and the need for urgent retransplantation. Due to rapidly worsening liver failure, George was placed on a liver transplant waiting list. He was extremely fortunate to receive a second liver transplant before his condition became terminal. This was particularly remarkable in light of the shortage of donated organs and the fact that close to 20% of patients of the Toronto General Hospital liver transplant list die before an organ becomes available. George's post-operative course was smooth, and he was discharged from hospital about a week after surgery and is now recovering at home. He's lying because George is here. His transplant physicians and surgeons expect him to achieve a full recovery, and we at Toronto General Hospital extend to George our warmest wishes and best regards. And of course we join that too. And what you go through, he's changing his liver like we change a spare tire. But and that's a hope for us that proves that things can be done. But I said too much, and I think that you want to hear from George. Please.
Thank you very much, Angelo. First of all, ladies and gentlemen of the press, thank you for attending this press conference this morning. I also want to acknowledge my family and friends that are here today, and they have been just a great source of great support for me throughout this whole thing, and without them I couldn't have done it, so thank you, guys. In late May of this year, we held a press conference in this room to talk about the European tour and the purpose for the tour and the overall strategy on how to help and improve the rate of organ and tissue donations in Canada. I want to take a moment right now to review that press conference and then move on to what happened up until today and some of the plans that we're having in the future concerning this. We at Step by Step have developed a new project this year, and it is called SOS4000.com. The 4,000 represents the number of Canadians that are presently waiting for organ transplants. The first step in this project was to organize a 5-country European tour. It consisted of a full itinerary of visiting and interviewing organ and tissue officials, staff, doctors, surgeons in the following cities: Rome, London, Madrid, Paris, and Vienna. As well, our mission was to gather information which came in different forms: CDs, videos, books, documents. The countries I mentioned all have successful rates of organ donations. Spain, in particular, they lead the world in organ donations and have led the world for many years. Our plans consisted of bringing back these materials and seeking a documentary team or TV program that would stitch everything together so that Canadians would get a chance to view a very compelling and an eye-opener of the potential that we have here in Canada to realistically and greatly improve our present rate of organ and tissue donations. We would then follow up in the next step. We would hope that Canadians would find a desire to strongly respond to this very important issue. We would construct another trek across Canada with the focus this time being on Canadians. We wanted a Canadian voice on this issue. Our ambition with our government is to motivate them and get excited about this issue. During the past 8 years, we've developed many political contacts, and our goals would be to increase the status of this issue so it became a priority in our country. Happy to see Mr. Peter Kormos here today, and he has presently a bill that's in the first reading, and it's the first attempt ever done in Canada, and we're behind you 100% on that one. Hopefully together we can persuade the other parties to join in. So on June the 1st of this year, I set out on the European tour and arrived at my first stop in Rome, Italy. My mission there turned to be very successful. We discovered some amazing things that developed in the past few years after they changed their system. My next stop was Madrid, Spain. I spent most of my time with my host, ONT. This is the organization that's responsible for all activities concerning organ donations and practically everything else. Their building is located on a beautiful complex in the northern part of Madrid in the Ministry of Health buildings. While I was there, I really thought I was in the Holy Land of organ donations. My host provided me with much more materials than I ever expected. During my conversations and my research, I started to understand clearly why 22 other countries would want to incorporate what we're calling the Spanish model. The ONT have many goals, and inspiring every country